You can eat little and age fast. You can eat very little and still age quickly, or you can eat properly and have energy, a clear mind, and a healthy body even at 60, 70. Most people think the problem is age. No, the problem is what's on the plate. This idea sounds simple, but it breaks almost everything people have believed for years. We were taught to fear bad food only because of calories. We were convinced that if you don't overeat, you're doing everything right. But the body doesn't work that primitively. The body doesn't age because of years. It ages because of chronic deficiency. Deficiency of protein, deficiency of fats, deficiency of micronutrients, deficiency of proper recovery. And this deficiency can last for decades, quietly, slowly, almost unnoticed. A person just gets used to being tired, gets used to having no energy, gets used to joint pain, brain fog, poor sleep. They begin to consider it normal for my age. But it's not normal. It's the result of years of poor nutrition. The illusion, I eat little, so I'm healthy. One of the most dangerous illusions of modern life is the belief that eating little automatically means taking care of your health. In reality, you can. Eat 1,200, 1,500 calories, be thin, have no excess weight, and at the same time, lose muscle, have weak bones, experience hormonal imbalances, age faster than people who eat more. Why does this happen? Because calories are not the same as nourishment. The body is not a calculator. It doesn't care that you stayed within your calorie limit. What it cares about is whether it received amino acids, fatty acids, vitamins, minerals. If not, it starts to economize. And in the body, economizing looks like aging. What nutritional aging looks like. Nutritional aging is a process you don't notice right away. It doesn't cause sharp pain. It doesn't scare you in the first years, but it accumulates. Here's how it shows up in real life. At 25, 30, constant cravings for sweets, sharp energy swings, poor sleep. At 30, 40, fatigue even after rest heavy, difficult mornings, reduced concentration, first hormonal disruptions. At 40, 50, weight gain, out of nowhere, joint pain, insulin resistance, heart or blood pressure problems. At 50 plus, rapid loss of muscle mass, fragile bones, slow recovery, cognitive decline, and people say, well, that's just age. No, that's years of poor nutrition finally catching up. Why diets accelerate aging. Most popular diets are built not around health, but around fast results. They focus on the number on the scale, not on tissue quality. When a person sharply restricts food, the body burns muscle, basal metabolism drops, hormone levels fall, brain function worsens. Muscles are not just about looking good, they are an organ of longevity. The less muscle you have, the more blood sugar regulation worsens, immunity weakens, the risk of falls and injuries increases, aging accelerates. That's why thin but depleted people often look older than those who have more muscle and eat enough. Why modern food doesn't nourish today. Most foods are highly processed, poor in micronutrients, designed for taste, not for cells. A person can eat until they're full and still be deficient. The body receives sugar-fast carbohydrates, empty calories, but does not receive building material for repair, real satiety, signals stable energy. In response, it demands even more food. This creates a vicious cycle. You eat often, but live in constant fatigue. What really builds energy, youth, and a clear mind? If we simplify it to the core, the body asks only one question every day. Do I have enough resources to recover? If the answer is yes, the body is young, energetic, and stable. If the answer is no, it switches to survival mode. And survival mode always equals aging. Here we come to 3 fundamental things that are essential for longevity. Protein, fats, stable energy, not sugar slings. Protein. It's not just about muscles, it's about life. Most people think protein is only for athletes. This is one of the biggest mistakes. Protein builds muscles, skin, Hair, nails, hormones, immunity, enzymes, brain, neurotransmitters. You literally build yourself out of protein. When protein is lacking, skin loses elasticity, wrinkles appear, hair thins, immunity weakens, mood becomes unstable, and the scariest part, the body begins breaking itself down to survive. Why people age even when they eat healthy. A typical example: a person eats porridge, fruits, salads, a little yogurt. They think they're eating right, but in reality, they get an excess of carbs, minimal protein, almost no fats. The result? Constant hunger, sugar cravings, muscle loss, hormonal imbalance. This is especially dangerous after 35, 40, when natural muscle mass starts to decline. Without enough protein, the body cannot stay young. Fats, the feared nutrient that destroyed a whole generation. For decades, people were told, fats are evil, they age you, they harm the heart, and people believed it. They started eating low-fat foods. They avoided egg yolks, butter, fish, lard. Then came depression, hormonal imbalances, memory problems, chronic fatigue, because fats are the foundation of cell membranes, raw material for hormones, brain protection, stable energy. The brain is 60% fat. Without fats, a clear mind is impossible. Hormones and longevity. Hormones are the conductors of the body if you're energetic or tired, if you burn fat or store it. And hormones aren't made from thin air. They need fats, cholesterol, amino acids. When people avoid fats for years, the body enters the deficit mode. It stops thinking about longevity, it only thinks about survival. Why sugar steals youth? Sugar is not just something sweet, it's an accelerator of aging. Every sharp glucose spike damages blood vessels, triggers inflammation, accelerates skin aging, exhausts the pancreas. A person may not have diabetes, but can live with constant microsugar spikes, and this slowly destroys the body. That's why, after sweets, you feel sleepy an hour later, you're hungry again, energy is unstable. It's not weak willpower, it's a poorly composed plate. Stable energy, the key to youth. Young people aren't defined by the number of years ahead. They're defined by having stable energy throughout the day, not sudden spikes, not coffee stimulation, but an even, steady state. This is only possible when there's enough protein, there are healthy fats, carbs are a supplement, not the base. Then the brain works clearly, mood is stable, the body doesn't break down. Gut, inflammation, and longevity. How food shapes your future. We've already talked about protein, fats, stable energy, and hormones. Now it's time to focus on the quiet conductor of our health, the gut. The gut is not just a food pipe. It's the body's main laboratory, where the following are formed. 70% of the immune system. Brain neurotransmitters. Enzymes for digesting proteins and fats. Compounds that slow aging. If the gut isn't working properly, even the healthiest plate won't help. Bad food is like building a house on sand. Chronic inflammation, the invisible killer. Inflammation isn't just a red throat or fever. Chronic low-grade inflammation is a silent process that destroys cells from the inside. What triggers it? Sugar and fast carbs. Trans fats and processed foods. Constant stress. Lack of sleep. Consequences: accelerated cellular aging. Loss of muscle and energy. Hormonal imbalance. Cardiovascular problems. Weak brain and poor memory. This is exactly why people can eat healthy vegetables, fruits, some porridge, and still age faster. Long-lived people of the world. What they do differently. Okinawa, Japan. Average life expectancy. Women 87 plus, men 80 plus. Secret. Little meat. Lots of vegetables and legumes. Fatty fish, rich in omega-3. Rice and fruits in moderation. Natural, unprocessed food. Sardinia, Italy. Another blue zone of longevity. Olive oil as the kitchen staple. Seasonal vegetables and fruits. Some cheese and yogurt. Physical activity as part of daily life. Gardening, walking. The common factor, natural, diverse food, not overloaded with sugar or processed products. Practical rules that really work. Protein at every meal. Eggs, fish, meat, cheese, legumes. Supports muscles, skin, and hormones. Healthy fats, olive oil, avocado, nuts, fatty fish, needed for the brain, hormones, and energy. Stable carbohydrates, vegetables, whole grains, berries, provide steady energy without sugar spikes. Water and hydration, 1.5 to 2 liters per day, helps cells function properly. Antioxidants and superfoods, green tea, dark chocolate, berries, fight inflammation. Fermented foods, kefir, yogurt, sauerkraut, support gut flora, immunity, and energy. Limit sugar and processed foods. Excess sugar accelerates aging. Trans fats damage the heart and vessels. Movement and sleep. Regular exercise and 7 to 8 hours of sleep. Growth hormones repair tissues. Sample day for energy and longevity. Breakfast, 2-egg omelet with vegetables, avocado, green tea. Lunch, baked fish or chicken, stewed legumes, leafy salad with olive oil. Snack, nuts, berries, or dark chocolate. Dinner, turkey or fish, stewed vegetables, kefir or sauerkraut. This is not a diet, it's a longevity strategy. Eating this way daily can maintain energy, a clear mind, and health even after 60-70. Small but important additions. Eat local seasonal foods, higher in antioxidants. Maintain social connections. They're part of health too. Meditate or practice breathing exercises. Reduce inflammation and stress. Add light physical activity occasionally, even 20-minute walks. Proper nutrition is not just a plate, it's your blueprint for a long life. Every meal is building material for youth, energy, and a clear mind. A body that gets protein, fats, stable carbs, water, and enzymes doesn't age quickly. The brain stays sharp, mood stable, and energy consistent every day. If you found this information useful and want more practical tips for energy, health, and longevity, subscribe, like, and hit the bell to never miss new videos. Comment on which foods you already include in your diet and what you'd like to change. Your health is in your hands. Start today, and in a year, you'll see results that can change your life.